In this section of Unit 1, we talk about weighted sums and averages, and here we have grade point average. This is a fantastic opportunity to talk about the differences between what I like to call a regular average or standard average versus a weighted average. In each category, you have several grades that are quiz grades, classwork grades, homework grades, test grades, etc. So you have several standard averages you have to calculate, and then in order to get your grade, you have to calculate a weighted average. A lot of times the students, all they want to do is add up whatever numbers they have and then divide by the total number of things they added together, which we all know is a standard average. They rarely incorporate the weights that are what dictate their grade. So here we have this regular average: 76, 52, 84, and 77 are the 4 test grades for a specific student. Again, stress here, you add these up and then divide by 4. That's a standard average. When you do that here, there's a place here for the category for the tests. That is a 72-point test average. And then, in order to actually calculate the grade, they have to take each one of these standard averages and multiply the weights or apply the weights to those averages and then add up the points they get from each of the weights that affect these averages. So here we go ahead and do that. Again, reiterate several of these concepts here. We're going to multiply by the decimal form of a percent because that's how the calculator operates. And then after you multiply by each category and their percent, you then add them all together. For the tests, we get 36. For the quizzes, we get 22.25. For the classwork, we get 9.75. And then for the homework, we get 9.2. When you add these all up, you're going to get 77.2, which is just a final average of 77. This is also a fantastic time to talk about reasoning and trying to figure out how they mathematically or quantitatively reason their way through changes in this type of scenario. If they were to get a higher test average, what would happen to their average? If the percentages were to change, how would that affect their average if their grades stayed the same? And here we know that if the homework or the quiz category percentage was to rise, then this 77 would rise as well, because these have the highest individual or standard averages that have been calculated. And so if the 10% goes up, well, this is the best grade we have here at 92 for the classwork average. If the 10% was to go up, then this weighted average, grade average, has no choice but to rise. Same thing here with the quizzes. If we was to raise this from 25 to 35%, make tests 40, that means this lower test average of 72 and higher quiz average of 89 would cause the grade average to change, and change for the better. And it's a great way to see how your students reason with these numbers as they are and these percentages and how they affect their own grade.